virtual farm tour today since we can't come to Miss Kathy's this year. So I'm going to show you the different things. Katie's here to help me, and the first thing we're going to start out with is the tractor because Cody brought it down and he's going to show you what it does. Boys and girls, that's a John Deere tractor, and that belongs to my son-in-law Cody. And he used that last year when he was doing some haying. It pulls the baler. Right? So we have 3 tractors here at the farm. The big one, another John Deere one with the scoop, which we use for a lot of things. You have to use that to pull equipment, to do shoveling stone or snow. We actually have 4 tractors. I just thought about that. We have my husband's C, is that right? And that's an international harvester. That one is red, and he uses that one to pull equipment when they're doing hay. And then they also have an orange Kubota, and that little tractor pulls the plows and does a lot of different things. So on a farm you need some big equipment to be able to do a lot of the big things on the farm, the haying, the digging up, the cultivating, that kind of thing. Okay, now we're going to look at some animals. You know that Miss Kathy has a lot of sheep that belong to Katie and Cody, my daughter and son-in-law, and we're going to start out with one that's been bottle fed, and this is Ren. Right?
She'll follow you right around.
Ren has been bottle fed because it's, why wouldn't its mom feed it?
I don't know, she just didn't want her.
She just didn't want to feed it. So Ren's been bottle fed, and that sort of made her into something like a pet because now she thinks Katie is her mom, so she just follows her around. And actually, as she's been getting bigger, she follows anybody around. So this is Ren. Yeah. And she's what kind of sheep?
She is a Scottish Blackface crossed with a Texel Dorset.
Okay.
And she's very, very soft.
There are different kinds of sheep, and she's not very old.
She was born in March.
All right. All right, we're going to go to the barn and look at some goats.
All right, we're going to go with this.
Okay, boys and girls, we're at the barn now, and right now in the barn we don't have a lot of animals, but we do have some goats in here. Katie and Cody bought some mama goats this year, and they had baby goats, and so these are their baby goats. They're in the barn now by themselves. The mamas are out in the field. We'll see them later. And these are 4-H animals. The boys are supposed to be able to show these at the fair. Hopefully there will be a fair at least, or a livestock show this year. They raise them, and then they show them for meat. These are a cross of what kind of goats?
Boer goats.
Boer goats. And so you can see they're running around in there. And goats are different than sheep. You don't have to shear goats, but they do clip their hair to get them ready for the fair. And they clip their feet. Their hooves. And what do the goats eat?
Goats eat grain and hay.
Grain and hay. Okay. All right. So those are the goats, and they're in the barn right now. In the rest of the barn, I believe there are a few sheep, but I don't know if you want to look at them, or shall we go up to the field and see? Field. Okay. All right. So those are the baby goats. Okay, boys and girls, we're up at the other barn now. And in this barn, we have my grandson Eli's dairy beef. Now, this is a cow. This is a dairy cow. And what they do is, it was a boy cow, and it's been fixed, and he raises it for the fair. It's a 4-H animal, and when it gets to a certain weight, then he will show this at the fair also. And so it's up here, and he has to take it for walks to make sure it behaves. You have to learn how to walk a cow, and you just don't let them walk. He has to put a halter on it, walk it around. To get it ready for the fair, he has to wash it and clean it and clip it. It has hair, and so he'll clip it. And if you notice, it's pretty big, but he's very happy. He's got a nice outside of the barn here to live in. And he seems to be a very gentle animal, which is good. Oh, got turkeys around here. Okay. All right. Boys and girls, this is a ram. When it comes to sheep, rams are boys, ewes are girls. This is the ram. His name is Checkmate. And he is the daddy of the flock, one of the daddies of the flock. And he has to be kept separate until it's time to have him in with his with the ewes. So he's in the barn up here by himself. There's another ram in the pen next door. Katie and Cody have 2 rams right now. And this is a Checkmate. Yeah. He's pretty gentle, and you'll notice he's very big. Rams are usually a lot bigger than the ewes. But you see how he puts his head down? You see, he's backing up. I think they get the name ram because they like to ram into each other. Don't ya? Whoop. See, he's backing up. Hopefully he doesn't come over here and ram Miss Kathy. But he might. All right.
Oh.
Okay. Boys and girls,
Joni! Here
This is-
goat!
this is where the mama goats are. And of course right now, all you see is Katie. She's calling to them because they're on the other side of the
Here
field.
goats! Here goats!
But they
Joni!
should be running here soon. So where are they? Joni!
They are down there. Joni! Here goats! Joni! Joni!
Can you see her?
Joni! Joni! Here they come.
Right.
Joni!
Oh, there they are. All right.
Joni!
Joni, come on.
Joni!
These are dairy goats.
Oh, Joni is.
Joni's a dairy goat. What's the others? Boars?
Yeah.
Straight boars? Oh, okay. Joni's a dairy goat. The others are boar goats.
Where are your friends? Here goats! Here goats!
Where are the others?
Here goats! Here they go. Here goats! Here goats!
Hi, Joni.
Here goats! Here goats!
Oh, there they are. Hi, Joni.
Here goats! Here goats!
That's Joni, and she's a dairy goat. And Katie has to milk her every day because she had babies not too long ago, and so her udder, she makes milk. When they have babies, they make milk, and so she's still being milked right now. Here comes the other goats. They're all girl goats too, but they're a boar goat. They're a different type of goat, and they are the mamas of most of the ones that are down in the barn, although Joni's are down there too. And Katie's going to feed them. They like to eat cookies, so she makes them special kinds of cookies.
Okay, alright, okay. This is what they like to eat. Goat cookies.
Whoa.
There's a lot of molasses in them and sunflower seeds and apples and carrots, and they go crazy for them.
See, they
All
like
except Smiley. Hey, settle down. You only get one.
Oh,
You only get one. Sorry.
that's Smiley.
Say hi, Smiley. Okay.
All right.
That's all you get. Hi, okay.
You can see these are bigger than the baby goats.
These are the mamas of the baby goats down there.
Yeah. And they're up here because they don't need their babies with them anymore.
Two of them have horns.
Yep. Why do some of them have horns and some don't?
When they were little, I don't know if you noticed down in the barn too, only one has horns down there. When they're little, you burn them off so they don't grow, because if you can imagine, these are pretty dangerous. If you're in here with a bunch of goats with horns on, they use them to hook, and they can hurt each other or me, or trees. So we take the horns off when they're little to prevent that.
Is there anything else you need to tell about them?
I don't think so, thank you. So we milk the goat to feed Ren.
Oh, the little sheep.
Yeah. So when I milk Joni, I put it in a bottle and feed Ren.
So when Ren's not on the bottle anymore, Joni won't be milking.
I will still milk her because I have been freezing her milk, because I can unfreeze it next year if we have any bottle baby orphan lambs or orphan goats, so I can supplement them.
Show how you milk her.
Show how I milk her, all right.
You have to go over to the stand there, Robert. Close.
Gotta get these out of the way. Too much of a temptation. Alright, so normally I would have a bucket to milk into, but since I don't right now, the milk just comes straight out. So like, you can just milk it out. So, you squirt the other goats, they get a milk mustache. So just squirt and it comes out.
Okay, boys and girls, we are up at the beehives right now. We have a friend who raises bees, and he asked if he could put beehives on our property. And since we have blueberries and peach trees and apple trees, the best place to put them were up here close to those things, because the bees really like them with the flowering. So anyway, these are the hives. I really don't know much about bees. We talked about this when we did our insects. Remember I told you my daughter raises bees, my daughter Beth, although she doesn't have any right now. These are good bees. These honeybees are bees that we don't want to kill. They pollinate, they make honey, they help the world. And so these are bees that we need to have. And if you can see, I'm hoping you can see, my husband is filming this, and I'm hoping you can see the bees flying around. And I believe, I'm not positive, but I believe in each of those hives there might be a queen, or there might be just one queen. One queen or all four queens?
One for each hive.
One for each hive. And the other bees that you see moving around, those are called the helper bees, and those are the ones that are working on the honey, going out and getting the pollen, and we need lots of flowers for them to get the pollen and bring it back. And they usually bring it back on their legs. So that's pretty cool. So these bees and bumblebees are good bees. Now, wasps, hornets, we talked about when we did insects, those are bad. And so if you see those, don't go near them and stay away from them.
Well, up here we have all the mamas and baby sheep. These babies were born mostly all in March. The daddy is not the one that you saw down in the barn. His name is Ferdinand. But these are all from one daddy, and all the mamas have different babies. Most of the time they have 1, 2, or 3 babies. Now, most of these mamas out here had 2 babies this year. Most of them are Texel crosses that we have out here. We have a few South Downs and 1 hair cross. Moms and dads want to look up the breeds.
Now, all the mamas had haircuts. Sometime in April, I believe it was. Yep. So they're all ready for the summer. And how long will the babies stay in here? Will you just keep them in here, or are you going to separate them?
No, at the end of this month, in just a couple of weeks, they're going to be separated from their mamas, and we'll either raise them up or sell them.
And what do you do with these?
We do sell these for meat. So if you've ever eaten lamb or heard of eating lamb, that's what these are for. They have to get a little bit bigger before they would do that, so we have to feed them out a little bit. But a lot of the girls in here, the baby girls out here, we're going to keep. So they'll be mamas the next time around.
Okay, so you can see that they have a lot of sheep. They have another pasture that has some sheep in them too. So this is what they are doing. They're raising sheep.
If you look, they're getting really big. The babies are almost as big as the mamas now. And most of them are all white, although we do have one in there that has a black head, one that's all black, one that's black and white, or 3 that are black and white, I guess, and one is brown and white. So they're all different colors in there, but most of them are all white. They move around from pasture to pasture. We have rotational grazing that we're doing. So they'll be in this pasture, I think, until the weekend, and then we're going to move them to a new pasture. But they're held in by electric fence. So if they touch the fence, they're going to get shot, and that keeps them in. And it's really funny. The mamas and the babies know each other when they yell. So if the mama yells, it's like, come here, and the babies yell back, and then they come running. Even if they're from all the way across the pasture, they know their mama's voice, and the mama knows their baby's voice.
Just like people.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep, we're done. Boys and girls, while we're up here with the sheep, I wanted to show you that if you look, you will see pastures, and that's where the sheep go to eat, or they cut the grass down for hay when it gets to the point when it's ready to be cut. And as my husband pans around, you will see going down this way, that's where Miss Kathy lives, down in the farm. It's down in that little hollow there. And I know some of you have been to my house, so you can see it, and you can see the top of the barn and the other barn. So that's where I live, and I'm up on the hill now. And all our land and where the sheep are all that you see. If you go down this way, you'll see that used to be a high tunnel where you raise vegetables, which we don't use anymore. And if my husband pans over that way a little bit, you can see a house in the woods, and that's where Katie lives. And so when we get done here, we're going to walk over to her place because she has some animals over there that we would like to see. All right, so now you've seen the farm.
So at my house, I have chickens and a duck and a bunch of cats. So this is one of the chickens. This is a brown chicken. She may or may not be a Rhode Island Red. I'm not sure. I just got her. Somebody gave me her. Right now I have 14 chickens and 1 duck. The chickens lay eggs for me. Almost all of them lay brown eggs, but 1 lays green eggs and 1 lays white eggs. So I have a whole bunch of different colored eggs here that we eat, and they all taste the same, just the outside looks a little different. If you can see, there's a rooster back there. Chick, 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 chick. Here chickens, here chickens, chick, 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 chick. I may have to get some food here. I have a rooster, 1 rooster, and he's really pretty. And I have a guinea chicken out there, and I have 1 duck. The big white one there is the duck, and the pretty one is the rooster, and the really weird looking one is the guinea chicken. Let me grab some food. Hopefully they'll come over. Chickens, chickens, chick, 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 chick. weird looking one. And it makes a lot of funny noises too. Can you see the rooster back there? And I have all different colors of chickens. I have red ones, I have white ones, I have a black one. I have ones that are mixed colors, so they're all different, but they're all pretty and they all lay eggs, so. Anything else you need to know about chickens? I'll have baby ones inside too.
Dad wants to know how you download
And I have a bunch of cats and a bunch of kittens. So if anybody needs a kitten, please let me know. I'm going to have a bunch of them to give away. Yep. These are Banty chicks. Now Banty chickens are very small chickens. They won't get as big as the big chickens. But these were given to me by a teacher friend of mine. She had hatched eggs in school in her kindergarten class and didn't really have anywhere to keep them. So she gave them to me. So I have 12 Banty chickens. And they're all different fun colors. And some of them have feathers on their feet, which is really cool. And one of them looks like it's going to be fuzzy, kind of. Or at least just maybe have a bad hair day, I'm not sure. But they're all really neat looking, and they're staying in here until they're big enough to go outside, because I don't want them to get eaten by anything or lose their way. But they're in here until they get a little bit bigger, then they can go out with everybody else. Yep. Here are two of the baby kittens. This one's gray, and this one's a fuzzy tiger. I think it's going to be long-haired. But these are just some of the kitties that you can adopt. You're welcome, parents. So I have quite a few of them. If you want a kitten, they'll be ready at June, beginning of June. And you can come look. I have really pretty ones this year. But I keep the cats here because they keep control of the mice and the rats from the chickens. So that way I don't have any of those pests. So there they are. Goodbye.
All right, boys and girls, well, that is the end of the virtual farm tour. Not as much fun as if you can come and see the animals at Miss Kathy's, but at least you see what we've talked about this year during preschool, and we've talked about the different animals. And so thank you for joining in and seeing the virtual tour, and thank you to Katie for showing us the different animals, and thank you for Bob for filming this. So Kate, do you want to come up and say goodbye to the boys and girls too, since they know you too? So thanks, Kate.
Bye.
All right, bye guys. All right, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.